Stephen Coreno, KOR Sports are here with Shawn Porter. Man, you see the grind, right? I like that you kind of, I like that you're on our side a little bit now.
Do everything, man.
Right? You're like, man, it's a lot of work, kind of, and you got a team, brother.
Yeah, I got a team. Kind of developed that from my habits as an athlete, knowing that hey, in order to make this thing is the way it's supposed to be, it takes a team. You know what I mean? So. I get bothered with my teammate performing. So, like, wait a minute, we're a video podcast. Why would we go do a show with our cameras? So, but it's a part of it, man. We all have those moments, and man, we make fun of it and just keep it moving, man.
Man, we all get bit by the bug. Brother, one time I had an exclusive with Wilder. No one else was there, and my camera shut off in 4 minutes. It was like a 10-minute, 12-minute vid interview.
Oh,
so,
man.
It happens. Hope, it's being in the fight, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. You're going to take your licks.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, man, right behind you, we got Canelo versus Charlo this week. The fighters that I know that have accomplished the feat that Charlo is attempting to accomplish, very few, right? Roberto Duran moved up.
I was like, the
divisions.
Fighters you know? What fighter do you know personally? I was really stumped.
Like, oh.
I was like, where's he going with this? Yeah.
Fighters in history, I guess maybe that's better to say.
He was on the inside of my head.
You're like, man, this dude knows people. He's talking with Roberto Duran and Bernard Hopkins like that. But, Roberto Duran, Bernard Hopkins, right, moved up 2 divisions, fought the guy in the division, and were successful. What does a victory for Jermell do, historical wise?
Yeah, I mean, this win, it's supposed to catapult him and take him to superstardom, but this hot and cold approach that he has taken to this fight, where he's been hot for every fight and promoted every fight and gotten in everybody's face, and then you actually need to do that on this one. You didn't do that. You know what I mean? So it's like people who know boxing and really watch this sport, they know you're undisputed, but you've been out of the ring 16 months. How many people forgot how you even became undisputed? You know what I mean? So I think if he does it in the form that it can, I believe it can only be done in, it's a knockout. And if it's exciting enough, it could, take him into that elite side of that pound for pound list that he wants to be on.
As a fighter, what do you take from that, right? You were you maybe loud in prior press conferences against guys that maybe you thought were inferior than you, or maybe not on your level, and now that you're against a guy like Canelo who you don't feel that way, what does that tell you as a fighter?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that kind of energy no matter what. You got to have that kind of mindset no matter what. And that's how I was. And I didn't care who you were, what you've done. When I go up against you, you're not who everybody thought you were, or there's things that you don't know about me that I'm going to show you. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that approach with the tenacity that he's shown in the past, opposed to, I'm going to be quiet and be respectful.
Is it maybe too much respect?
I don't think it's too much respect, but I think it just, even from that standpoint, you're turning off some of the things that have been on virtually your entire life. Are you going to be able to turn it back on? Never turn it off, So.
Just quickly getting to Spence Crawford. Spence enacted the rematch clause.
Yeah, buddy.
And from what it sounds like, right, from what TC's saying, it sounds like it's kind of up to him to weight it. It happens that he wants it at 47. Seems like Spence side wants it at 54.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. Spence wants to fight at 54. The plan was get all the belts and then move up. That didn't happen, and now he's got to revisit what is actually going to have to happen. So that being said, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I hold true, man. I think it happens at 54. I don't think it happens at 47.
I was going to say Crawford's kind of in a tough spot, right? Because the only other fighter he's talking about is the winner of this, more specifically Canelo. But Canelo's locked in for 2 more fights after this. So I mean, does that kind of put pressure on him to be like, hey, make Spence at 54 to kind of appease the PBC side, and then maybe you get the Canelo fight?
No, when it comes to Canelo, there's no appeasing It's all about what the plan is for Canelo. Terrence Crawford was never a part of the plan for Canelo. As you can see, when Canelo talks about the fight, it's a whole bunch of I don't knows. And then there's a whole bunch of ifs. Those are they're open-ended in the answers.
Goes Charlo right there.
Because he was never a part of the plan.
Right.
So, that's the one thing I think a lot of fighters need to understand. Like, you take a look at what's realistic, what can I make happen, what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. You know what I mean? What's realistic that this fight happens, the rematch happens at 154. It's more realistic if I make this fight happen at 47, that halfway through camp, there's a physical issue with Spence, that maybe even near the end of the camp, there's a physical issue with Spence, and simply because he's a grown-ass man that can't make 147 pounds anymore. I'm not mad at Crawford. He became undisputed at 47. Rematch happens at 47. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, this is what we know. We know that there's a lot of everybody, when the fight started to go the way that nobody expected it to go, everybody's looking for answers. Instead of just accepting what's happened, we're all looking and asking questions. Those questions get answered at 154. They don't get answered at 157.
Are the answers different at 54?
Minute. I think that the makeup's different. I think it's more competitive, closer to the middle of the fight. But ultimately, I think that Crawford wins at 54.
What do you take from these rumors about Earl leaving Derek James?
Man, it was crazy. I didn't believe it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it needs to happen. I think collectively that was a team loss. I think collectively the team can figure it out and come back to the ring better.
Last one, man. David Benavidez versus Boo Boo Andrade. Do you take this cut through the elevator?
Sure.
Yeah. Just
hoping it ain't. I'm actually not leaving. I'm going to the over there to the sports book. So
oh, my bad. Yeah.
I'm excited for it, man. I said for a long time that Boo Boo Andrade was the most underrated boxer in the game. That was a couple years ago, and unfortunately, not much has changed in a couple of years outside of his age and the fact that he's gotten older. We'll see what happens, man. I'll keep it real, man. Ain't no secret, man. I'm a big Boo Boo Andrade fan. I grew up with him in the amateurs. Went to China with him for the Olympic Games. We've been around the world together. You know what I mean? Big fan of his, just like I was with Terrence.
Right.
It should be no surprise, but it is because we fight. But it should be no surprise that we all are friends because we've known each other for so long. Whether we've been in the ring against one another or our friends fought you or our brothers fought you. Right. It is what it is, So I'm looking forward to that fight. But
how does Boo Boo get it done against?
I know that anyway it's called the Monster. Benavidez is the Monster. Benavidez is the Monster.
For real.
Yeah. Bruh, ain't nothing what I like most about Benavidez is it's like so natural for him. You see guys that they rip it because they gotta punch hard or they gotta force things. That dude don't force nothing and it all just happens.
Just flows.
It just happens.
Yeah.
It's sexy. I ain't front.
Yeah, good stuff, Shawn. Everybody tune in. The Porterway Podcast.
I give you the best stuff, man. I give you better stuff than I give the Porterway Podcast.
You need me to put me on, bro.
That releases every Tuesday on YouTube
and
all of the podcasting platforms around.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
I give you fantastic stuff.
You definitely do. Always appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thanks for walking, too.
Of course, always, man. Thank you.